everyone, and welcome to something a little bit different than usual. Today we're going to be doing a different kind of video. We're going to be talking about which company makes the best 6-scale Power Rangers, not in my opinion, but in all of our opinions combined. So today we're going to be putting Threezero, SooSoo Toys, and Toys Battalion all up against each other to see which one stacks up, comes out on top as the best 6-scale Power Ranger maker in the world. So this is going to go based on looks, body, overall presence on a shelf, and something else that I'll make up later on. Should be a good one. I love talking about Power Rangers, so why don't we start with the one who started it all, Toys Battalion. Threezero is what I meant to say. I don't know why I said Toys Battalion. The one who started it all, Threezero. So when it comes to Threezero Rangers, the best thing you could say about it is, it looks like the Power Ranger, and they do it the most. They have the bulk sets. It is a little slow coming, but they do have the bulks. You could get Mighty Morphin in bulk with 6 Rangers, Zeo with 5, Turbo with 5. They do have all their optional Rangers, and they are pumping out Rangers much quicker because they're more focused on the Ranger thing. They do look good for the most part. They do have a lot of wonky proportions, though. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But getting down to it, we'll start with my favorite thing to talk about, the wonky proportions. So, in this category, we will be ranking how they look overall, proportion-wise, and how they look just like body-wise in general. So with Threezero, my biggest complaint, and it has not been fixed, this is the most recent Zero, and this is one of the more original whites, is that the bodies look really not great. It looks cheap. You could see that the fabric gets caught on the joints here, which doesn't happen with anybody else, and it's not like it's a problem with just one, because it happens with more than one of them. But they also have the problem of these really, moving out of the way for a second, lanky bodies. They give them extra height, so they're extra tall. And with some of these, the joints are really, really loose, and they like to fall over a lot, and it gives them these like long gorilla arms, so everything just feels disproportionate and ugly per se. It's not my favorite thing in the world, and because they set the precedent, everybody else is doing it. SooSoo did try to get away with just making them regular sized, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But with these guys, they just have like these long spindly joints, and the bodies are really loose, so they don't like to hold a pose. And it is really annoying on an otherwise not too bad figure. But just like the bodies that they've chosen are really cheap, and they do not feel great in the long run. But for the price, you get what you get. Moving on, let's talk about SooSoo. So with SooSoo Toys, they really refined the body thing. They've picked much better bodies in proportion. Like I said, we do have these ankle extenders, but that is by choice by the fans. People, including myself, asked for them to be taller just so they would match up with the Threezero ones, because it looked really odd. But then that does affect the proportions of the entire figure. So sacrificing the height for Threezero and matching that up, it makes the helmets look smaller. It makes the bodies look smaller, because now they're just like slightly taller, and it doesn't quite work proportional-wise. But if you do use these guys at the normal height, they do look really good. And like I said, the bodies they chose are much better. They're much more sturdy. The arms feel a lot tighter, and the fabric isn't getting sucked into the elbows as well. Everything just feels better. It clicks better, and it stands in place. But because of those extra ankle joints, the ankles do get a little loose depending on what you're doing, which sucks. But it's a sacrifice if you wanted to have it Threezero height. And it does run like that for all the figures. Some of them are worse than others. With these guys, they stand perfectly fine, but somebody like the SooSoo Toys Gold Ranger is going to slack a little bit, and he might fall over because he's not as supported. With this one, you kind of have this shoe here to support him, but with Threezero or SooSoo Toys Gold Ranger, it's a little and it doesn't quite work out as well, and they do like to slide around. But if you have the normal ankles on, it should be perfectly fine. And the ankles, you do get a 2-pack in the box. So it's not like you're getting screwed over because you get extra. Because originally the Black Ranger released and he didn't have them, but with all the other sequential releases, you did get those extra ankles, so you do get some extra ankle space. But SooSoo Toys so far definitely has probably my favorite body of the bunch, but we still got one more to talk about in the body category. So finally here we have the Toys Battalion bunch, and these are two different figures. You can't really tell how well the body is on this guy because of the fact that all the armor prevents any articulation in the fabricy suit, whatever the material is, completely prevents any articulation other than like some slight arm movements and stuff, but it does feel sturdy enough. I'm trying to be careful because they don't like to stand up. But like, he's sturdy, it's not going anywhere, but I don't know if that has to do with the body or the suit, because the suit is really, really tight. So it could be a really yucky body, but a nice tight suit that keeps the body in place. But they still choose not to stand a lot of the time. But where problems arise is the other side here. Because this is all fabric, it's a lot looser. It is good, but it doesn't hold as much as you want to. The ankles are really, really an ugly loose. And that sucks, but for the most part, because it's all fabric, you do get some pretty good articulation out of him, and the body's not the worst. It just doesn't quite want to stay where you want it to, but it's okay at best. Toys Battalion here really came in last. Toys Battalion's never been the best at anything, but at least the body is holding together, and it doesn't look as gangly, despite being around the same height as Threezero. It doesn't look as gangly, and I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's because of the parachute pants he's got on, but he definitely does not look nearly as gangly and weird as something like the Threezero White Ranger does, because of, you know, just these long appendages that they've decided to give him. Anyway, with all of that, I definitely have to give the first round of body types to SooSoo Toys here. They really went out and they made something that feels a bit more human. It feels a lot more reasonable proportion wise, and while it does suffer because it now has to be at Threezero height, it still manages to, for the most part, hold up on its own and be a lot better than you would expect it to be for a Power Ranger, which are fairly cheap to buy. Anyway, let's move on to our next category. So moving on to the looks category here, we have the Threezero Red Ranger. It's a great representation of looks, because looks can be deceiving. It looks really good at face value, but it's not perfect per se. It's got what it needs. It's got the blaster, it's got the sword, it's got the sword blaster. He comes with his sword, which is neat. And the looks look fine if you jimmy with it, but like, again, you got these elbow things that are problematic. The head looks a little too big. It looks way too egg-shaped. But when you get to the back is when looks start to fall apart a little bit. If you remember my video, I said I do not like the way this just kind of like jimmies its way down. It is on the back, but it is still noticeable, and it's not my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I just do not like it. But for the most part, Threezero figures are very front forward. They do look good. They look the part that they need to play. And that's pretty much all they need to do. They all will exactly look like what they do in your mind, with small little tidbit problems here and there, but nothing where you're going to go, oh, this is bad, I don't like this. No matter what you do, it's always going to look good. At least as long as you're not looking for something that'll blow your mind. SooSoo Toys, on the other hand, absolutely blow my mind. These things they have the shine, they have the suit down to a science here. The weapons, and like even the morphers look good on the ones that need morphers. Everything just looks more detailed. It's got more oomph to it. The biggest problem with SooSoo Toys figures is that the head is a matte color and the visor isn't shiny. And by that, I mean hold on. So, with all the other ones, the head shines and the visor reflects. With these ones, it does not, because it is a matte color and there's no gloss to it. If it was a glossy helmet like normal Power Rangers helmets, I would be so much happier. But because it's not, it takes away so much from the rest of the look, because you got this shiny whitish silver with black and then just like a white helmet. It hurts my heart to say, but it doesn't quite hit the way it should because of this like small little stupid thing. But it looks great overall, and every SooSoo Toys Ranger so far has looked fantastic, and it's made me very happy. But this just not quite as much that it could be. However, coming to the back here, we do have... Let me actually grab the Black Ranger for this. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Here he is. So his foot fell off, which is a shame. Hold on. One of the drawbacks of the extra ankle is the feet like to fall off. But I feel like, as much as I complained about it on the other one, the seam line, at least on the Black Ranger, is a little bit more or less noticeable. Maybe because it is black and the red just kind of stands out. But I feel like it's a bit more... It's thinner, I think. This one's a lot thicker. It feels a little bit more rushed. This one feels a bit thinner. It feels a bit more put together. Not so much on the white, but on the black, it feels a lot more clean. And I really like that. I really appreciate the extra effort put into it. But we still have one more. So Toys Battalion. Obviously, you have two different kinds of looks going for them. The movie look with this more armored feeling to it, which definitely looks really good in the right light. But not every helmet is perfect. If you go back and watch my videos, you could definitely tell that I had some problems with some of them. And then we have the Ninjetti outfit, which has this nice light flow to it, and a head sculpt, which is, a plus, because no other 6-scale Power Ranger has done such a task yet so far. But they're still not perfect per se. This guy, as great as he is, it's the movie look, so it can't be perfect. It's got weird armor in places. The way the armor connects is ugly. And he's got this back diaper. Especially because it's white, it really looks like he's wearing a diaper. So that really affects his overall presence. The belt being all white really doesn't do it for me. I think it should be like a contrasting color like black or gold to match all the other gold, but it being white just kind of hides it in there as a belt entirely and doesn't really break up anything until right here at the knees. And on this guy, it's definitely got a bit more of that color breakup. I like the diamonds and I like the black belt here. This guy's making up for this guy. They're the same guy in the end. But where this guy fails is the head sculpt. I don't want to show you because it just looks nothing like Tommy Oliver, which is a real shame. This could have been a real marketing point, having Toys Battalion making head sculpts for 6-scale figures. But because they only did 2 of the Ninjetti figures, they did him and they did Kimberly, and they were both really mediocre, they just sort of stopped, which is a real shame. But at the end of the day, I have to give the overall looks category to Threezero, because it has the least amount... Oh, do not fall on me after I was about to give you a point, buddy. It has the overall best put together look. It's got the shine on the helmet. The visor looks good. If this just had the shine on the helmet and the visor, SooSoo Toys would probably clean up every single round. But because it has that shine and it just looks exactly like it needs to, other than the weird body, which I can't count against it because that was a different category entirely, it just ends up looking really, really nice. And I think it stands out the most in the collection. And it makes me really, really happy overall. So I have to give them the points on that one. So SooSoo Toys has a point, and Toys Threezero. I keep wanting to say Toys Battalion. Threezero has a point. Moving on to the next category. So we've come over to the shelf for shelf presence category. Most of my SooSoo Toys figures are currently sitting behind me in the light box, which is taking up most of my space. But when it comes to shelf presence, currently I really do want to give it to Threezero because they just have more. And it really adds to the overall presence of the shelf. The Toys Battalion ones do have a nice shine to them, but because they're just like banana yellow and kind of ugly in some of them, like the helmets are ugly and the designs are just kind of whack. SooSoo Toys could take it, but I don't have enough of them to really like warrant like, yeah, they have the presence on the shelf, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to come up, they're going to see like I said about his feet earlier, they're going to see my Threezero, my Green Ranger, my Matt Ryan Green Ranger, or my Matt Cook Green Ranger. Matt Ryan is the guy who plays Constantine. And they're going to go, my God, the Power Rangers. And it's just going to stand out that much more, as opposed to like everyone going to go, why are those guys in armor? Like, I don't think, other than maybe the White and Black Ranger from Dino Thunder, I don't think SooSoo Toys ones are going to grab out as much as somebody going, Mighty Morphin Red, or Mighty Morphin blah blah blah, or oh my God, it's Zeo. I just think they'll stand out so much more. See, people will see this guy and they'll go, evil White Ranger, what's that? So I think just because of the overwhelming amount of Rangers that they have made so far, Threezero really takes the cake for shelf presence in this category as well. So right now, not looking good for the other categories, or for the other teams, I will argue. Let's head back to the game there, pal, and see where we're at with the teams. So let's make this last category here posability. And we'll stick with these guys because as much as, I mean, Toys Battalion's already at a loss because their posability is nothing. This is jank. So we're going to pretend like he doesn't exist for now, and we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt with this guy. So let's do some posability, and we'll start with our main man, Tommy, in the middle. So these guys do get 360 back and forth, up and down. Arm goes up as far as you need it to, depending on, this guy's got armor shield on, so that's going to stop it. But like, it still gets everywhere it needs to thanks to this lovely fabric. The elbows do have good articulation, and you do have some crunch. The legs can do whatever spread you need them to. The joints, hand doesn't like to stay in, but the legs also don't like to stay in. But you get as many poses as you need out of this guy. The posability is crazy on the Threezero figures, which gives you all those range of motions that you would possibly need for a Power Ranger. SooSoo Toys also has a nice 360 degrees up. Pretty good. The fabricy interior part would most likely hinder this one a lot, because you can see it's twisting. I probably picked a bad example here. But you know the worst examples. So this one, just be careful because it feels like it doesn't want to go past 90. It's a really tight joint, but you do get ab crunch still. The spread is not nearly as good, but the leg still goes up. Still get good knee bend. Free articulation at the ankle here because you got this extra ankle joint. And the leg doesn't really go back at all. So it's almost as good, but not quite as good as Threezero. And finally, the head would spin 360, but I'm not taking this thing off. Up, down. It took forever for me to get it to look nice enough. Back and forth, not bad. Arm goes considerably more up. Considerably all the way around. The fabric on this guy is freeing. There's barely any crunch, but like with everything else, do you really care about a slight ab crunch? I mean, look at this guy. Oh my God. Look at that. We barely get it. We get a leg back and freedom at the ankle. if it wasn't for the other ones being the movie ones and not having posability at all, Toys Battalion would absolutely take this with how good this is. But because of that, it does hinder that. And because the Threezero body falls apart as I'm posing it, I had to take away points for that. So I'd say with this round, I still have to give it to Threezero on this one. The posability is just unmatchable. With the SooSoo one is good, but it's not perfect. You do get, it's still pretty similar on the other ones. The arm actually doesn't even want to go up on my Black Ranger here. There we go. The joints are tight, which is nice, but they don't get the same power posing that I get out of Threezero. And Toys Battalion, like I said, would be good if they only made the Ninjetti figures, but because they made the other ones, it's not quite there. So at the end of the day, Threezero is still technically taking it. So at the end of the day, it might not be your favorite thing in the world, but for the price and for what you're getting, Threezero really does bring out the best Power Rangers. It's not perfect looks-wise, but everything else, it really does have something going on. It's got the full teams. It's got fairly good looks, but not perfect per se. There could be some extra detailing work, but it's close enough where as a team, you're going to have the overall team effect, and it's not going to... You're going to be happy with it, is what I'm saying. The biggest complaint about these guys is the yucky, stinky body. But, like, if you really want to take the time in your life to fix them all, by all means, go ahead, do it. It's just going to take forever. But I genuinely think Threezero has the best bang for your buck, especially because most of them are just about $100. You can get, like, Ranger Slayer and Lord Draken, and they're always making more. They're making all the variant stuff. And they're the most dedicated to it. So you could be dedicated to Toys Battalion's Power Rangers, but you're probably not getting any more. You could be dedicated to SooSoo's, but SooSoo is kind of imploding on itself right now. So you might want to wait on that one and hope that they make the blue and yellow Dino Thunder Ranger at some point. Threezero seem to be the only ones who are still dedicated to it. They're still showing it off. And the ones you should really be putting your faith into overall. Honorable mentions for... stuff that I didn't quite go over in this video. Accessories, SooSoo Toys nails it. They have multiple versions of the weapons, and they added extra accessories you definitely didn't need. I got to give Threezero props for finally adding extra wrist joints in the Zeo pack. Props to Toys Battalion for even attempting to give head sculpts to the Ninjetti Rangers despite them not looking great. I still respect it. But they did not give Kimberly a whip. They just gave her the whip handle. So that really sucks. Other than that, at the end of the day, it's not a competition to who has the best Ranger. It's more of a happiness that we have all of these Rangers in our lives now. And it makes me so happy that we have the opportunity to even have any of these at all. So at the end of the day, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe and tell me how you feel and what your favorite 6-scale Power Ranger is. Because at the end of the day, I'm still dedicated to the SooSoo ones. Those ones speak to me so well, but I have to just give my honest opinion. These guys really hold it together. And with all of that out of the way, I've been me and you've been you, and thank you for watching this weird experimental Power Ranger 6-scale figure video review thing. Hopefully you join me next time when we do something maybe new. I will see you then.